Hey, Mike.l.Levine, and today with another video. We're going to be looking at a Tahari men's t-shirt. I bought this t-shirt for $9.99 at Costco, and we're going to analyze how it's made. Really unique blend. I got a heather version and a solid version, and whenever you have a blended fabric, which this one is cotton modal spandex, the cotton and the modal absorb different dye stuffs. So a solid fabric is actually what we would call a double dye, because you have to go through and dye the cotton and then dye the modal, which this is 58% cotton, 38% modal, and 4% spandex. So you actually dye the cotton in one pass, and then you dye the modal in another pass. And then you actually have to try and get those two colors to match each other. Otherwise, you're going to see splotchiness. Now, in the heather, which is this one right here, it's actually what we call a single dye. So you dye the cotton. In this case, you can tell it's a cotton because it's cotton rich, and it's mostly a solid color, where if we would have dyed the modal, you would see a lot more white showing, and the heather effect would be more pronounced. So anyways, here we just dyed the cotton. You didn't dye the modal, and it's left white, and that gives you your heather effect. And the other important feature that has to be taken into account is when you do specifically make a heather fabric, or intend to make a heather fabric, before the yarn is ever made, the blending where they mix the cotton and modal together before spinning the yarn, that blending process has to be intentionally designed and done for a heather fabric afterwards. Otherwise, you could get clumps of cotton and modal within the yarn that it will cause you to look like you have streaks or large spots where it'll become obvious where the fibers were not blended well. So anyways, we'll take a look at this shirt. Let's take a look at the construction, and the other thing is we can also compare it to my previous video, which was that Sewn West garment that we bought for $40 online. That was a similar blend. I think it was Supima cotton and micro modal, and it was $40 compared to this one, which was $9.99, and this one is a little bit richer because of the spandex feel to it. So anyways, we'll take a look at construction first. We'll do our shrinkage test, and then we'll come back and do a wear test and compare the two and see what we come back with. So stick around. It should be a good one. Okay, so let's look at the solid first. Both shirts are made the same way. So as far as construction's concerned, they should be identical. We have this label tacked here in the neckline, which I always prefer to have some kind of heat seal as opposed to a label, because you know they're itchy, and that's just the way things have gone recently. We do have this contrast fabric half moon here, which that is really premium construction in my I really like that. You can see the outline here, the stitching of the half moon. I think that adds character to the shirt, makes it just a little bit more elegant, say, as to a plain t-shirt, which typically is just the minimal amount of construction. You also have this stripe fabric that's covering the neckline. It's ended very nicely out of sight, so it's done correctly. I do like when it goes across the shoulder seam as opposed to just ending in the middle of nowhere. But nevertheless, this one is nicely done. This half moon, as you can see, is done a little bit too perfectly to match up with the neckline. It should be a little bit bigger. That way you don't run the risk of this being exposed when you're displaying the garment. I don't know if that's coming through in the video like I wanted to, but you don't want this seam to show. Now, it just has to be folded correctly and it's not quite right. It should be a little bit bigger than your neck opening. Obviously when you're wearing it, it's unimportant, and what's the most important thing is that the shape looks symmetrical back here where it's stitched, and it does. Top stitching along the neckline on the body, no stitching along the inset sleeve, double needle cover stitch hemline on the sleeve. Same exact machine was used for the bottom hem, so the stitching matches. You do have a pocket, which is nicely made, and also the same needle gauge stitching, as you can see, that was used for all the hemming operations. So in the hemming of the pocket, you do have this Tahari heat seal label on the pocket with raised letters. You can actually feel that. Very nice touch. And a single piece back. So just an overall very nice t-shirt. It does look a little bit more constructed, or I don't know how you would say, less casual than your common just basic t-shirt. The fabric is a little bit denser than a regular t-shirt as well, which makes it less see-through and maybe more appropriate, a little bit more dressy. Let's take a look at some of our basic measurements. This is obviously an extra large. And oops, stay in frame. Let's see our chest measurement for the base for shrinkage testing. So we have a 48-inch chest, and then let's check our center back length. And we're at 30 inches in length. Wrinkles are not too pronounced, which is very nice considering this was laying flat on a table. So anyways, we'll check it for shrinkage in a little bit here. Let's see the heather as well. Here's the heather shirt. Now heathers and solids can shrink differently because of the way they were dyed. As you can see in the heather, they use the same contrast for all colors. I think there was a third color as well. They use the same contrast fabric, so I don't know if that would have been my first choice for this particular color heather, but nevertheless it's there. And construction's the same. The chest is a little bit bigger on this one. We're getting 49. And let's see the length. And 30 inches in the length. So there we're the same. Now the other thing that I'm noticing too is it looks like this neck drop here, this front neck drop is different. So here I have 3.5 inches. Let's see, solid once again. Yeah. Yeah, here we have 4 inches, so a little bit different. Let me just check the chest one more time. Maybe the garment wasn't completely laying out. There's such a difference in variation in measurements. Yeah, 24.5, so 48.5. So that's a 1/2 inch difference in chest between the two, and that's within, say, sewing tolerances. I don't know what their target actually was, but I'm going to throw both of these in the wash. We'll wash them together. We'll check the wash instructions, and then see if we get same shrinkage between them. It's made in Bangladesh, and it says machine wash cold, non-chlorine bleach when needed, tumble dry low, cool iron if necessary. So we'll wash them up. Let's see what the shrinkage is. We'll come back and look at them, and then we'll do our wear test. Okay, so here we are straight out of the dryer, and we have what appears to be a very nice smooth finish. So the spandex mixed in with the modal and cotton is giving us a wrinkle-free tendency to the fabric. And spandex, like I've mentioned in previous videos, doesn't like to crimp, so it doesn't like to wrinkle. It wants to straighten out, so it really helps with the finished appearance of garments. So let's see. This is once again straight out of the dryer. I did tumble dry low like instructed, and let's see how we did here in the shrinkage. Make sure those seams are pulled out. And 23 and a half, so 47. So we lost an inch and a half. Still not above even 4%, but well, still not above 4%, so we're still pretty good. Let's see how we did in the length. Where we would have expected the shrinkage to occur is in the width, because that's the direction of the spandex. Length, we got 29, so we lost an inch overall in the length. Once again, that's also under our 4%, and that's typical Costco tolerances on shrinkage is 4x4, so we're well within spec there. And this is the black heather, and certainly intentionally done as a heather because there's a lot of white showing through. And once again, we'll make sure our seams are rolled out. Now on the heather we had a 49-inch chest measurement before wash, and now we have 48, so lost an inch, a little bit less shrinkage, and half an inch small, or an inch now, difference between the measurement in the solid and the heather. And then in the center back length, 29 inches. So the same dimensions between the two shirts. Hey guys, alright, so in conclusion, this is that Tahari shirt. This is the heather. It's a little big on me, an extra large. It's measuring 47, 40, I think this one was 48 inches in the chest. So for me, I need 44. That's about where a comfortable shirt is for myself. My chest, I believe, measures like 42 inches, so you get that plus 2 inches, and that's all the room that I need to have some movement. So this is a little bit big on me. So I went back to the store and I actually bought the large version, but before I do show you that, try them on, I'll show you what the blue one looks like, that it was a little bit smaller than this one. So just hold on a second. So here's the solid blue, as you remember, and this one was a little bit smaller, measured about an inch or half inch smaller in the chest, but it still is a little bit too roomy for me. So I went back to the store, I bought the large. I think I originally mentioned to you that I thought there were 3 colors, but there's actually 4. So it's this blue, the heather gray that I just had on, and then there was a green and like a taupe. Let me show you what the large looks like real quick. So this is the green. It's like a solid green. You see it fits me kind of just perfect. And this one, the chest measurement was 45 inches. Which is more in line with, I think, what I need as a more casual wear type t-shirt, where it's going to be more fitted, it's going to look better, and there's still plenty of room in the waist, so, because I hate when t-shirts are tied around my stomach. That's the last thing that I want to show off. So anyways, there was one other color. There was the taupe, so let me show you that one as well. So here's the taupe color, and love it, the hand feel. This is the Sewn West garment that we saw in my previous video, which has the similar fiber blend without spandex. So the hand feel on this shirt, I loved it. It was probably, up until this point, one of the nicest hand feels that I had on my channel so far. Now, this Tahari shirt feels almost identical. It really does. This one also has the benefit of a much better price point and the spandex, as well as the added construction details. So I'm really impressed with the Tahari shirt. I would get all 4 colors for myself in the correct size, and I think that it's really a terrific product. Anyways, if you'd like to make something like this, I have this exact same fabric coming out of our mill in Vietnam. We have t-shirt factories, we have activewear factories. I have 22 sewing factories altogether, so we have tailored clothing, outerwear, casual wear, you name it, we can make it. I carry a whole collection of fabrics, and plus we can always develop a fabric if you have something in mind. We are a large-scale producer, and so we have minimums of like 5,000 and up. We're not looking for real small accounts, although if you have small quantities, we can try and accommodate. But as a group, we're looking for to do a larger business. So if you meet those requirements and you're interested in working in Vietnam, please reach out to me. I'd love to hear from you. Anyways, that kind of sums up my video for today. I enjoyed this one very much. It was a very nice shirt. And I hope that you guys continue to dress smart and keep watching my channel. I look forward to seeing you again in the future.